Imagine you're a teacher, and you need to line up these students by height. How do you do it? You just look at the whole group, spot the shortest kid, and put them at the front. Then you look at the rest, find the next shortest, and put them second. It's incredibly easy. This intuitive strategy has a name. It's called selection sort. But here is the problem. Your brain can look at the entire room at once. A computer can only compare two things at a time. Let's see what happens when you force a computer to sort like a human. To understand selection sort, we need to divide the array into two zones. A sorted zone on the left, which starts out completely empty, and an unsorted zone on the right, which contains everything. Our goal is simple. We need to find the absolute smallest number in the unsorted zone and move it to the sorted zone. Because the computer has serial vision, it has to patiently scan across every single unsorted element to find the minimum. Once it finds the smallest number, it performs exactly one swap. It swaps that minimum value directly with the very first item in the unsorted zone. And here is the most important rule of selection sort. Once an element is placed into the sorted zone, it is mathematically locked. It is in its final position, and it will never move again. Now, we just repeat the process. We scan the remaining unsorted zone, find the next smallest number, and swap it to the front. If the number is already at the front, we don't even need to swap. We just lock it in place, and slowly, one by one, the sorted zone grows, until the entire array is locked. See, writing the code for this is actually quite simple. First, we need an outer loop. Let's call it I. This I tells us where our sorted zone ends. At the start of every pass, we just assume the first unsorted item is our minimum. So we store its index in a variable. Let's call it min_idx. Now we can't just trust that assumption, right? We have to check, so we use an inner loop, ji, to scan the rest of the array. If ji finds any number that is strictly less than the one at our min_idx, we simply update min_idx to point to this new, smaller number. Here is where people usually make a mistake. They try to swap inside the inner loop. Don't do that. We only swap after the j loop has completely finished scanning. Once we are absolutely sure we found the smallest number, we swap it with our boundary element at I, and just like that, the element is locked in place. Let's trace a full example. Our outer boundary I starts at 6. We assume 6 is our minimum. The inner scanner sweeps 5, 3. Okay, 1 is smaller. It remembers 1. It checks the rest, but 1 is the absolute smallest. Scan complete. We swap 6 and 1. 1 is now permanently locked in the sorted zone. Pass 2. I moves forward to 5. The scanner sweeps again. 3, 6, 8, 7, 2. 2 is our new minimum. We finish the scan and swap 5 and 2. 2 is locked. Pass 3. I points to 3. The scanner checks the rest of the array and finds absolutely nothing smaller. So what happens? The algorithm is blind. It simply swaps 3 with itself. It might seem silly, but maintaining this strict mechanical rhythm is exactly how computers work. From here, the cadence never changes. Scan the unsorted zone, find the absolute minimum, swap, scan, lock, swap. Notice how the unsorted zone shrinks by exactly one element every single pass. We repeat this rhythm over and over until the entire array is perfectly sorted. Let's translate this into real Python code. First, our outer loop runs through the array with I. Then, our nested j loop scans the remaining unsorted elements. If we find a strictly smaller value, we update our minimum index. Finally, we swap them. Python lets us do this elegantly in a single line. Now let's call the function and watch the array sort itself pass by, pass in the terminal.
So what's the verdict on selection sort? Let's calculate the time complexity. In our first pass, we made n-1 comparisons to find the minimum. In the second pass, we made n-2 comparisons. And this pattern continues. all the way down to 1. If we sum this up, we get the arithmetic series n times n minus 1 over 2. In big O notation, we drop the constants, leaving us with a strict time complexity of O of n squared. Regardless of the initial array, for space complexity, it sorts entirely in place, giving it a highly efficient O of 1. But beware, it is unstable. A long-distance swap can easily destroy the original order of duplicate elements. However, it does have one superpower: minimal swaps. It never swaps more than n times, making it ideal if you're working with memory where write operations are costly.